Hi, everybody, and welcome to Console's winter release webinar. I'm Matt McGowan. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Console, and with me I have TJ, our Senior Product Manager.
Good morning, everyone.
And joining us for the first time, we have Em, our digital training producer.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Look, guys, we've got a lot to get through today and appreciate that many of you are in lockdown. Obviously, we're wearing masks with the restrictions in place in Queensland. We're going to make this as interactive as we can. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the Q&A button. And while we don't have people in the office with us, we do have our team online and ready to take questions. So as you see some of this information, please ask a question. And after the webinar, because we are going to fly through a lot of things really quickly, after the webinar, there'll be some more information that'll be sent out to you, and that'll allow you to get a deeper dive into some of these great capabilities that we're releasing. I'm just going to turn off my video for now and just go into the presentation. The first thing I wanted to do is just to give a big shout out to our customers. We've got some customers online that have been with Console Cloud since the beginning 4 years ago, and we've actually been nominated for a few awards in the last 12 months. So these awards aren't possible without the participation and feedback we receive from our customers. And I wanted to give a big shout out, especially to our beta clients who take on these new features and give us feedback and help us build a product ready for the general market. So you can see the one there's the most innovative PropTech solution. We're really proud of that. But again, guys, that's thanks to the feedback that we receive from you through our forums, as well as through the suggestions inbox in Console Cloud. So thanks, guys. Like I mentioned, we've got a lot to get through. We're really proud of where Console Cloud is today. And, we're all about trying to help your business work faster and work smarter. So we're going to go through a whole bunch of capability that's been delivered in the last 12 months. I'm going to call out a couple of things from this slide that are really relevant. Console Sales Module has been a roaring success within our business. More than half of our customer base on cloud uses that product. Based on feedback, we've released our Console Commercial add-on module. It was one of the top 5 feedback items within Console Cloud for the past 12 months, and we'll be demoing that today. A number of our larger customers have asked to basically have an end-to-end digital process for maintenance. And earlier this year, we released Console Maintenance Pro. Console Go, which is our companion property manager app. So you can go in there and search your properties. It comes as part of your Console Cloud subscription. And you can also extend that capability and add on the Console Go Inspect app, which allows you to do entries, exits. And you can see this little dot point down here. We're also about to demo you the end-to-end paperless inspections part of that. So that's going to be a really great demonstration. Insights Pro, not only are we giving you the basic reports you need to run your business, we're giving you a deeper insight. And this is the work smarter part of our product. And we're going to show you how you can grade your rent roll from those properties that take you a lot of time to manage to those properties that take less time to manage, as well as those properties that you earn higher revenue on and those properties you earn less revenue on. Yardstick, another one of our work smarter items, giving you insight into your owners. Basically, we send out a survey to your customers, or you send out a survey to your customers from Console Cloud, and your owners grade how likely they are to refer your business. So you can identify those people who just love what you're doing, and you can ask them for testimonials and ask them for referrals. And you can also identify those owners that may be having some challenges with your property management service, and you can reach out to them before you potentially lose a manage and try and turn them around. So it's a really great product. And we've got some exciting announcements from the marketing team over the upcoming months on how you can use that to win some of our competitions. Over the last 12 months, we've updated our tenant app and our owner portal. You'll see parts of those today in line with the paperless inspections. Workflows, for those of you on Console Cloud today, you know that we love adding to our workflows and continue to build those workflows out. It's what differentiates our product, and it's also what helps you work faster. In these COVID times, we are being asked as property managers to do more and more. And we think the workflows are a great way to not only help you automate your day-to-day tasks, but help you and your team collaborate around important activities within your property management business. Console advertising we'll be demoing today. It's a really beautiful workflow and will allow you to portal push to domain, REA, on the house and web choice. Paperless inspections I've already mentioned. And another large feedback item that we've received over the last 12 months is about the ability to receive inbound SMS, and we'll be demoing that live today. So we're really excited to be sharing that with you if you're not already using that product. But let's just get straight into it. I'm going to pass over to Em. She's going to start our commercial demo. Just let me get out of here.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone. So recently, we've migrated a lot of our gateway clients over to cloud. And one of the big items that has been raised by our customers over the past 12 months is that ability to better manage commercial properties. So we're so pleased that we're able to showcase these new capabilities in cloud and really help our clients manage their portfolios holistically and also more efficiently. So let's jump into what commercial looks like today. So from our properties view, I'm going to select commercial. Now you can see in this landing page, I can actually manage everything that I need to for my commercial portfolio right here. So I don't need to go in and out of a whole heap of different screens. So similar to all of our other views, you can also manage this through portfolios if you want to just see what's relevant for you. I'm going to jump into some of the views along here and starting with tenant insurance. So speaking for itself, tenant insurance allows you to keep track of all your tenant insurances just to make sure that your data is always up to date. So by selecting this, I can also do bulk messaging. So just by selecting who I want to talk to, selecting messages, and then choosing any templates that I may have created. So the beauty of this as well is this is all customizable to create your own templates so that you've also got your own office procedures, your own wording, everything that you need to in this messaging as well. So I can filter this down as well. And I've also got all of my search options here. And I've also got the option to export this view if you like CSV formats.
Especially, Emma, if you've got many properties in this view.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. And then you can run your own magic. If you're an Excel wizard, then you can do lots of magic with that. So same with tenant compliance. Again, you can do that bulk messaging. So selecting who you want to talk to and then choosing message. And the beauty of this is it's continuing to grow. So we're adding more and more items as to what's available for compliance and insurance as part of that feedback as well. Under rent review, again, I can see everything that's coming up for review and see those tenants as well as the review type. So CPI being a common one that's used when it's due to start, and also if the tenant's on console pay. And if it is a fixed rent, you'll also see your new rent amount there. Again, being able to export this to CSV is another beauty here as well. And you also have that bulk messaging feature there too. So speaking of CPI, this is where you can actually set your quarterly CPI percentage. So from here, I'm just going to put in my quarter as 3%, and I'm going to approve that. So I'm going to say, yes, go ahead and approve that. Now, the beauty of this is it's going to go ahead and apply that CPI to my tenants that have that rent review. However, if you do have tenants where you know there's a bit of a variance, so let's just say you might have someone in a different state or there might be different reasons for that variance, I can choose my little pencil icon and change that percentage on an individual level. So it's providing you with the flexibility that's so important these days to make sure that you can have that for your tenants as well. Jumping over into our arrears, in our arrears list here, you can manage all of your commercial arrears. And at a glance, you can see you can set this by a period. So if you'd like to just set this by a period, depending on your office procedures, you can do that here as well. Or maybe you just want to search for a particular tenancy, you have all that freedom to do so here. Now, if I select someone from this list, I can then get a bit more of an overview of what's happening with this tenancy, what currently is in arrears, and also what invoices are outstanding. Now, I'm a bit of a poor property manager, as you can see. I need to do a bit of work on my invoices here, but I've got a list of everything that's outstanding. Now, what I can do is have a look at my timeline. I might have just been on leave and I've come back. I want to see if anyone's been speaking to these clients. I can actually see what's happening through this timeline here. So before I go ahead and contact this tenant, I know that I'm kept up to date. Now, if I jump back to my overview, I know no one's spoken to them, so I'm going to go ahead and message them an invoice arrears message. Now, what this is going to do is, again, bring through the template that I've created myself with my own personal messaging. I can see an example of what that's going to look like as well with my beautiful logo there. And scrolling down, I've got all of my outstanding invoices attached. So I can go ahead and click send. And you might have noticed there was a little X on some of them as well. If I wanted to actually remove one from there, I have the freedom to do so. So I've sent that to my tenant now, and that's automatically updated to my timeline straight away. So I know everything that's going on there, and everyone's kept up to date and in the loop. So going over to all, this is where I can see all of my properties and buildings. So you do have the option to create buildings here, which allows you to collaborate or bring together all of your properties within a building. So if you do have a number of units that you manage within a particular building, you have the option to bring them all together there. If I click on one of my properties, you're actually going to see what this looks like here. So if I've got my owner on the phone, I know that within this particular view, I can go ahead and answer any questions that they might have. So I can see what they've got available. Clicking on my little drop down here, I can see all his finances, if he has any questions on that, and also with my tenancy. So are they currently in arrears? Have they got any invoices due? I can see, again, all of that information there, and also any insurance and compliance details. Any access or features, I have it all here ready to go, as well as my timeline. So again, the timeline is a beautiful little feature that goes throughout all of these different views where you can filter this down. If I just want to see what's relevant for that time, if maybe it just is compliance, keys, inspections, I can do that from there too. So jumping back into here, I'm going to actually have a look at my ownership. So you can see that I'm not actually going into a multitude of different screens. I'm just going through a nice clean flow, which allows me to see what I need to see. Now here in my ownership, again, I've got all my communications and everything that's relative for this particular owner, all of his fees, etc., is all available here, as well as his balances. So if I need to regenerate any owner statements, it's just the click of a button through here as well, and I can re-download them at any time. Now, I might want to have a look now at my tenancy. So again, just clicking on my tenant agreement takes me straight to that tenant. So within my tenancy agreement, I've got everything I need to know about my particular tenant. And scrolling down, you can see I've got my recurring rent set up. So I know when the next invoice is going to be automatically sent to that tenant. So I don't need to worry about doing any extra admin. And it allows me basically to get more time in my day, and I can see what's happening there as well. Scrolling down further, I can see my insurance, any additional information, but I've also got my rent reviews. So if I've got lease options set up, I might know my reviews for the next 3 lot of leases that are coming up. So I can go ahead and add them in advance, so I know that I'm not missing anything. So if I add new here, my beautiful little drawer is going to pop open on the side, and I can choose the type of review that this is. So let's say it's CPI once again, and whether or not it's inclusive of GST, and hit save.
So that's a really good point. You might have different types of tenancies, and some tenants might have fixed increases rather than CPI increases, and you can actually program those as part of your rent review.
Exactly. That's right. So you've got the flexibility to do so there. Or you might have CPI for this lease and then a fixed increase for the next. So it's allowing you to mix it up as to what's relevant. And you can go ahead and edit them. We know we need to be flexible in these times. So editing these is available as well. And seeing what's happened in the past, and maybe there was a little mistake, that's okay. You can go ahead and amend them as well. So scrolling down, we've also got our invoice credits. So like we've been speaking about the theme of today, flexibility, it's important to make sure that in these times we have flexibility in our system to work with our clients as well. So you might need to apply some credits to any invoices coming up. So it could be for COVID relief, or maybe it could be an extra business service that you're offering. You can go ahead and add these invoice credits to your tenancies. So whether it's a current or past tenant, you can choose that there. And also the type of invoice credit that it's going to be. So I've only got my rent schedule set up, and then I can choose the amount and also the effective period. So is it for this period? Perhaps it's for a future period, whatever the case might be. Now from there, I can also set that to be recurring. So I know that I've actually made an agreement with my tenant to have this set for every month for the next 6 months. And I can pop in a description there as well as to what it's for. So it could be for COVID relief, as I mentioned, maybe a business service, or maybe they just got free rent for the next few months.
It might be a new tenancy, and part of the incentive is the first 3 months free.
That's it. Why not?
I think and probably important just to point out that these credits appear on the invoices as well.
Yes, that's right. So beautifully, it does appear on the invoices. So it's nice and transparent for you, for your tenants, and for your owners as well. So you can see everything that's there. And you'll also see that period so that you know what it's relative to. And you can go ahead and view them and make any changes if needed by selecting that little edit option there. So it's nice and clean and simple. So a big part of commercial is bills as well. So I'm going to pass it back over to Matt to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks, Em. So as part of the commercial add-on module, and this affects both commercial and resi, I'm actually going to load a resi bill because it's going to be a bit quicker. We have our new bills workflow, and it's a significant improvement on our previous payment screen. It allows you to load the bill without necessarily having to pay it. And it also allows you to go in, especially for a commercial property, on charge the tenant for that bill. So I'm going to just go from start to finish. I'll go and just load one of my water bills. And the system's loading it. You can drop 100 bills in at a time and the system will process those in the background. And what you can see is that it's picked the property, it's picked the creditor just by reading the bill. It's picked the statement of accounts or the dissection. And one of the things, like again, this is all about helping you to work faster and smarter, making sure that you don't miss out on fees that you're entitled to. The system's recognized that the owner and I have an agreement on our PMA that I will charge them for processing invoices. So it's pulled that fee through. Now, if I didn't have that on my PMA, that fee would not be there, but I still have the option to turn it on, turn it off at this point. It's also given me some really important information about the tenancy. So this is a water efficient property and the tenant is liable for the full water charge. So while I'm processing this bill, I can also choose at this time to on charge the tenant, which I'll do. Now, look, this is a demo account and hopefully everyone would read a duplicate warning like this and probably not progress putting this bill in. You can click this button. It'll actually open up the tab and show you that duplicate bill, but it's identified that it's the same creditor, same invoice number, and same amount. So it's likely to be a dupe. I'm going to put it in for processing purposes. And now I'm at the stage where I'm on charging this to the tenant. And the system's smart enough, again, like it's just another thing just to save you time. It's redacted the key parts of the bill that we've redacted in the past. It's remembered it. You can still move them around. You can still delete them. You could still use the reduction tool up here to remove anything out, other information you don't want the tenant to see when they get a copy of this bill as part of their invoice. But you can see it's charged the tenant. So you can also charge these back to past tenants, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to go through with Lily because there's a couple of things I want to show. Just add in the dissections.
And Matt, it's probably worth pointing out that we've actually used optical character recognition to pre-fill those fields for you.
We sure have, TJ, and that's just the magic of technology, taking care of the heavy lifting for us. A couple of things about this tenant worth pointing out. So what's going to happen is I'm going to email the tenant. They're going to get an email of the invoice and they're going to get a copy of this bill. You can see that it's picked through the excess water charges correctly, 87 and 46. And because this tenant is registered with Console Pay, I can also schedule the payment to be automatically taken from their account. Now, some of you are probably wondering, whoop, I don't know if I want to do that. But when the tenant signed up, they've also given us some preferences. And they've let us know that if the invoice is less than $300, I can automatically schedule that payment. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule it. And now when I come down here, I'll be able to find that bill. There it is. It's ready for payment. I've got funds to pay the bill for this ownership. I can go through and see the uncharged amount. I can see the Console Pay has been scheduled. I can choose to send it to the tenant again. But again, like you're processing a lot of these bills, it's just 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, saving you hours every day and every month to process these transactions. I'm going to hand over to TJ now, and we're going to go through one of our killer features, which is our paperless inspections. And again, guys, we are quite short on time. And if you really want an end-to-end demonstration of our inspections, book in and talk to one of our customer success representatives.
Thanks, Matt. So guys, last year we released our Go Inspect feature, which is our improved inspections workflow for Console Cloud. And since then, we've continued investing into it. And what I'm pleased to show you today is a new feature that we've added, which is Paperless Inspections. It completely digitizes your entry inspections process. Now, what that means is you no longer have to print out PDF reports or email them to your tenants. It's all handled using the Console Tenant app. So let's dive in and take a look. Now, in case you haven't heard of or subscribed to Go Inspect, you can actually do that in Marketplace today. By going to Marketplace, there's a tile over here for Go Inspect. If you're a first-time user or brand new user, you'll actually see a subscribe button that you can click on, which gives you the first 60 days free. And then you have the full capability available to you from today onwards. So I encourage you that you do that. Once you've activated it, let's go into our workflows and inspections. And I'm actually going to do an inspection very quickly so you can see what that looks like. So let's go ahead, create a new inspection for this property. And we're going to do an entry inspection right now. Let's choose today's date. So we've got the inspection scheduled. And what happens from here on is I will then go into the Console Go app, which is an inspections app that we also have, and carry out the inspection while I'm at the property. But just to save time, I'm actually going to pre-prepare this report using my last entry inspection, which I did yesterday. So this feature here just allows you to copy your comments and photos from the last inspection, so you don't have to do it from scratch, which is just a massive time savings for especially entries and exit reports. So we're now preparing the report based on what you've done previously. This property only has a handful of rooms, so I'm just going to go into each room, just make sure everything's come across, which it has. I can see my photos there. That's all good. And I might just edit this comment to say that I've done the entry on the 18th, which is today.
And to be clear, TJ, you can be doing this. This is what you would actually be doing in the app as well. This is fair representation.
Correct. And everything that you see here is fully available in the app as well. And you can also rearrange rooms as well, both in the app and in Console Cloud. Now, once you've completed the inspection, you can hit the complete button at the top, which is where we now capture your electronic signature that goes to the bottom of the report. So you don't have to print this and now sign it. You can just digitally sign it like this. That's now saved and ready to be sent off to your tenants for review. Now, this is where you normally download the report and then email it to your tenants manually. And what we've done here is just magic. So you can click on the share button and invite the tenants to now review this report. By default, we put 7 days from today as your due date, but you can change that. So for example, if I want the tenants to review this by Friday, I can put the date there, and they have till just before midnight to review this report in the tenant app before they can't make any further changes to it. So we're going to now click next, and it's going to now email this template that you can see here, which is fully customizable, by the way. It's going to email this to all the tenants in the property. So there's actually 2 tenants in this property in this example. And what we'll do is, so Matt and I will actually simulate the tenant experience very shortly. One thing I want to point out is the email template here actually contains a link to the tenant app. So if they're a brand new tenant and have never heard of the app, they can click on this link, which takes them to the App Store or Play Store, where they can install the app and activate their account, which links them to this property. If they already have the app, then it just takes them into the app logged in. So I'm going to click send now. So it goes through. And I'm just going to bring up my phone so you can see what the tenant experience looks like. So I've got my phone on the screen here, and I'm just going to go into our emails very quickly. And we should see a bunch of emails come through. So there is the email that the tenant will receive, basically telling them that there's an entry report that's ready for them to review in the Console Tenant app. And that's the link there that takes them to the App Store if they're brand new. Given I've already signed up to the tenant app, if I just tap this link now, it takes me straight into the app and I'm logged in. As you can see, I can now review my report that has just been shared previously. And just in case you're seeing this for the first time, I might actually take you through just a lay of the land here. So we've got my highlight screen, which is the very first screen here, which summarizes all the recent activity on my property. And look, guys, I'm using a demo account here, so it's quite unusual for a tenant to see these many reports, but we've been playing around with it quite a bit today. Also, you can see the contact details for the property manager, my recent rental payments, which is great. In case they need a copy of their receipt, they can get it from here directly now. They don't have to contact you to get that. And they can also schedule their upcoming rental payments using Console Pay, which is our direct debit solution. They can also lodge new maintenance and track any maintenance requests that they've already created and view their payment history as well. So it's a fully featured app for the tenants. And with the paperless experience that we've just added, it adds far more value than it had previously. So let's go now and review this report as the tenant. And what it's going to do now is it's going to load the inspection. There we go. And you can see the due date that this report needs to be completed by. After this time has passed, this report will disappear from the app. So the first thing I need to do as a tenant is review the information about this. I can see who the primary tenants are. So in this case, I'm the primary tenant and Matt will be the non-primary tenant in this case.
And TJ, I'm seeing the exact same information you're showing on the screen.
That's right. So Matt has a similar app and he's seeing exactly what I'm seeing right now. So as the primary tenant, I can go through each area and either agree or disagree with the condition and then sign the report. What Matt can do is just review the comments that I've made and then sign the report. And if there's any issues, then the tenants can discuss it and then update the report. So I'm going to confirm that I've read this and go into each area now and review each room. So these are the details that the property manager took at the time of the inspection. I can now choose to either agree or disagree. If I agree, I can just go to the next area and everything's fine. If I disagree, then it won't actually let me go to the next area without adding a comment or a photo. So I need to do that. I'll just put something in here. I disagree with this condition. It's a very formal response. And I'll take some photos as well of the room that I'm in. You can take multiple, hit done. And those photos will now appear on the condition report as tenants, the tenant photos. And then they can tap on the next button to go to the next area and then just keep going. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to just blitz through the remainder of this report by just agreeing to everything else. Just do that real quickly.
iPhone going on here in the room, by the way.
That's right. So it's available on both Android and iOS. So and so Matt's using Apple in this case, and the app works beautifully on both. So we'll just go and accept this real quickly. And while I'm doing this, Matt can actually see on his phone the comments as I type them, and we'll be able to sign the report on his own as well. So I've now completed all areas, and you can see that there's a little tick box that shows up as I go through, so which is handy for the tenants in case they missed an area. So we're going to go back now and just go back to the inspection main page, and you can see down here, so these are the tenants. And Matt, in this case, Dame Newcomb, has signed the report today. I haven't signed yet. And you can also see the property manager has signed and what time they did that. So if I didn't actually sign this report right now and the due date went past, what happens is the inspection becomes unavailable to the tenant now and gets returned to the property manager with whatever comments has been captured and whatever signatures has been recorded. But otherwise, I can also review extra information. Given that I'm using a New South Wales template, I'm actually seeing all the New South Wales relevant conditions here, which I can review.
Yeah, so I think that's an important point, TJ. The inspection workflow itself is aware of the state that you're operating in.
That's correct. And the report is changes depending on what state you're in. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a few more minutes. I'm going to now sign this report, which will capture my signature at the bottom of the report. So that's now completed. Meanwhile, back in Console Cloud, if I refresh my screen, we'll see the status has now changed to tenant completed. So it happened in just less than a second, and the tenant review has been done. From here on, I can now send this report off to my owners and tenants. Previously, I'd have to download that report as a PDF and then email it off to the tenants or owners, which was laborious. But now we've added this send final report option, which allows me to email the reports directly from Console Cloud, and the owners will be able to see the report in the owner portal, and the tenants can view it in the tenant app like this, where they can download the report and then open it up in Adobe Reader, for example. So right now, I'm just going to email this off to the owners. Click next. So we'll show you what the owner experience looks like. So the owner will get an email. And also, if they're a brand new owner or have not used the owner portal before, the email itself will contain a deep link, which allows them to activate their owner portal account. So
and connect it to your office.
And connect it to your office. So we thought about all of that as well. So I'm going to switch to a different browser now, which has the owner portal logged in. And here's an example of the owner portal for my office. You can change the logo to suit your brand and business. And you can see all my properties currently in my portfolio and any properties are currently unleased at the moment. So here's my property that I was just doing the inspection for. A beautiful property in Dara. And I can go into activities and inspections to see the entry inspection that I just shared with this owner. Now, the owner can do a couple of things. They can either go into the activity and download the report. And if they did that, they can see this PDF report here, which actually shows them. So this is based on the New South Wales format and layout. And so that's the entry condition report. You can see that we've completed it with the details there was done today. The property manager's initials and tenant's initials are already on the report as well. We also updated the layout of these reports to look a bit more cleaner with a bit of colors. So you can see it looks a lot nicer and you can see all the comments that were captured there. And the tenants, whether they agree or disagree with the condition, also appears in that section over here as well. And then finally, the last few pages, if I just scroll down, is where we've also embedded the electronic signatures of all the people that carried out the inspection. But the best part for the owners is they can view a digital version of that report in the portal itself by clicking on this link. Similar to what the property managers can see, they can see the same experience in the owner portal, and they can also see the condition of the property and any comments that the tenant had provided. So in this case, there was no comments, but I think in this one here, you can see probably some, you can see what the tenant has provided. So that's all available in the owner portal.
And our beta customers who took this on TJ just love the professional look of that report as something of value to their owners as well.
That's right. It just makes the whole experience from the owner's perspective great and more professional as well. Probably the last thing I want to talk about is the exit inspections. We've made some improvements there as well. Right now, this is available to our New South Wales and Western Australian clients, but we will be making this a setting that you can turn on for all offices in all states. But if you're in New South Wales, for example, the exit report will now contain both the condition at the start of the tenancy and at the end of the tenancy in the same report. So owners and even tenants can see the change, how the property had changed during the lifetime of that tenancy. So you can see all the condition, the comments side by side, including the photos that the property manager took and the tenant took. And all the links to those photos are available down here as well. So it's just an example of how we're trying to minimize you having to send multiple reports to owners and tenants. And from the owner's point of view, they got pretty good idea that you're looking after their properties by presenting them with reports that look professional and also have detailed information like this. So we're making this available right now to New South Wales and Western Australian clients, but very soon it'll be available to everyone else. So guys, that's the paperless inspections workflow that I wanted to show you. The next thing we'll take a look at is our brand new advertising feature that will be released very soon, and it's part of our premium tier in Console Cloud. Now, we're always looking for ways to streamline your business, and one of those ways is by improving the way you advertise your listings to real estate portals. And by doing that, you can manage your listing in Console Cloud. So you have one place to create your listing, and then you can publish that to multiple real estate portals. Now, as Matt mentioned, after the webinar, we'll send you some information on how you can upgrade to premium so you can take advantage of this feature and some of the other ones that we're about to show you. So we'll go to my property, this one here. And actually, before I show you the advertising flow, to actually set it up, you go into Marketplace and go into advertising. Within here, you can see that the add-on is activated, and I can now configure which portals I want to push my listings to. So we've got a few portals already there. You can see I've set up my listings to go to realestate.com, web choice, and also on the house, and I can add domain as well if I want to. And as in the future, we'll be adding more in here as well. And if you have your own websites that you'd like us to push to, please get in touch and we'll see if we can add those to this list. Now, we also have an import listings feature, which is great if you already have listings up on these real estate portals. So for example, right now, some portals allow you to export your listings, which I have now imported into the screen. And what you can see here is these are my current properties that already have advertising listings on the portals. What I can do is import these ones and match them to a property in Console Cloud, which will then update my listing in Console Cloud to include the description, the photos, and everything. So it just saves me a whole bunch of time from having to rekey in all my listings.
Yeah, so you've got a file from REA there, TJ. You've uploaded into cloud, and now you're just matching the information that was on the portal to the property that's in Console Cloud.
That's right. And you'd only have to do this when you first set up your portal. Thereafter, you just manage your listings in Console Cloud. So once you've done your import, you can go to your property page, like this one, and you can click on advertising, which is where you can now manage your listing. So if you use that import listing feature that I showed you previously, this whole page will be filled in for you. So all you have to do is just edit anything that needs to be changed. You can start by editing the features of the property, which is all the information that appears on the real estate portal. So the more you fill in, the more chances that you have, for users searching this property on the portals. You can also change the rental details, and you can also update the photos. Now with photos, we do have a separate section here for cover photos. And this is where Console Cloud and the owner portal will use a different photo to what you might publish on the real estate portal. And you can have the very first image is basically like the centerpiece picture, and thereafter are any rooms that you've added there, which you can rearrange the order at any time and also remove them. And we've got a dedicated section here for floor plans. Once you've done that, you can then edit the description over here by clicking on this edit button. And you can change all that to your heart's content. And you can also choose to configure all these settings as well, like when's the property is listed, how much rent it is, how it should display on the website, and any other additional links, such as virtual tours, videos, and the actual website link. Once you've added all those details in, you can also go down here and edit and add your open for inspection times as well, which appears on the real estate portals. So that's all now set up. All I have to do now is publish this online, and you can see your portals that I've set up previously will appear in this list, and you can choose which ones to push to. All I have to do is go available for lease, hit publish, confirm, and it's going to now send the listings off to these 3 portals. If there's any issues while it's doing that, you'll see them come up in this example here. So because I'm using a demo account, I can't actually push to those sites. It'll tell me what the errors are, like it has there.
And the little tag status changed up the top there, TJ.
That's right. So you can see now it's listed. So this is great if you have just one property, but what if you're managing several? We've got a dedicated workflow, which is for advertising. And this is where you can manage all your properties that currently are being listed online. So you can see here, I've got 4 properties currently at various states. You can see the key informations about all those properties, when they're available, and also the listing status as well. So you can see I've got 1 that's not listed and 3 that are listed, as well as who the managing or the listing agents are. You can see these 3 properties here have issues. And as I showed you, you can go into each one and view them. But we've also allowed you can also filter this by portfolio, by the way. But if you just want to quickly change the listing and take them off market, it's as easy as clicking on each one, updating the status to off market, for example, hit publish, and it just removes that from the page. And you can do that very quickly for multiple listings with just a few clicks. So it's just a really easy way now to manage your listings. And you're doing that all in Console Cloud and pushing it to multiple sources, multiple destinations. So extremely easy. And that's all I wanted to show you with the advertising workflow. All right, so I'm going to hand over to Emma to show us the next cool feature that we've added to Premium.
Thanks, TJ. And how easy is that to change the status? Things are flying off the shelf at the moment, so it makes it much easier. So the last new feature that's part of the premium tier is inbound SMS. So with inbound SMS, you can now receive SMS replies from owners, tenants, and also your creditors directly into Console Cloud. So not only are your communications in one place, but your whole team can actually chip in and help out if you're away or if you're busy. So all communications are recorded on that person's timeline. So you can download it at any time if you ever need them, if any disputes happen. So let's go ahead and take a little look at that. So jumping over into our communications icon up here, I can actually see that I've got an option here called received and also SMS. So if I go over to here, I can actually see the chain of SMSs that I've been sending. Now, what I'm going to do is use Matt as my protege for this particular example. I'm going to find Matt in my system. And I'm going to go ahead and send him a little text message. So just by choosing message and SMS. Now, again, I have the option to add templates in here if I choose to. Otherwise, this is just a quick message to let him know that he still hasn't dropped in his keys and I'm waiting for them. Waiting on those keys. Now, I can actually put in here any merge fields as well. So I'm going to pop in the contact name and that's going to bring across from my contact. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click send. Now, Matt's going to receive that on his phone. And when he gets a chance,
I've got it.
Go back. Oh, he's got it.
So you can be zipping around the system, Em, while I just type in a message.
So while he beautifully executes his reply, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the chain looks like. So if I open up Matt's message, I can scroll up and see all of the other messages that's been happening. So I can load older messages as well. And you may notice there's a change in color. So what that means is these gray ones are actually automated reminders. So these are things that the system sent out. So it could be for SMS in regards to arrears or anything else that you've got set up as part of our automated systems. But scrolling down, any of these blue ones are part of the messages that me or my team have sent out individually. So if I go back into here, you'll actually notice that there's a little option up here that is a little icon to let me know that a new SMS has come through. So I can see straight away in the system, someone's replied. So jumping straight back into received, I can see that Matt's replied with, I'll be in tomorrow. All right there, Matt, that's fine. So I can reply here again and say, thank you. So I'm not having to go anywhere else. I can go ahead and send that straight back and I've got a full chain of everything that's been going on. So from here, basically I'm capturing all of my communication in one place. And again, my team can collaborate easier. So I might have gone out and gone to do some inspections, but my team can still see those SMSs that are coming through. So it's really handy, especially if you don't want to use your personal mobile number. So you actually get a dedicated number for your office that all replies can be routed back into. And once you upgrade to premium, there's no additional cost for that number of incoming SMS as well.
That's right. So this is available to our customers on premium. If you're on premium, you can go to the marketplace and activate inbound SMS. You'll get a dedicated number assigned to your office. So or anything replying to that email will come into the system. And any of those customer replies actually just come back into the system at no cost to you. So you're still only paying for your outbound SMS.
Great. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Matt. So next we're going to take a look at, and this is the last part of the presentation, is Insights Pro and how we can now supercharge your monthly management meetings. So from the very beginning, we had the vision to give you the ability to grade your rent roll using business intelligence. And what I'm going to show you today is how you can now use Insights Pro to assess which properties are costing you the highest amount of effort, but also not generating the revenue that you probably expect. To be able to see that, you can go into Insights and go into the Pro section here. And this is available for premium clients as well. And these three reports here will be able to now allow you to give you intelligence as to how your rent roll is performing. And we do that across these three key areas. The very first one is a report that shows you properties that may be under rented. This report here shows you how your arrears compared to other agencies on Console Cloud. And the last one here shows you how much time you spend per property versus the income that you are receiving. Now, before I go into each one, I wanted to point out that each of these reports can now be locked down using permissions. So we've just recently introduced a new user role called the super administrator, which is a high-level user in the system that only one person can be assigned per office, and only that person can reassign that role to anyone else in the office. Now, as a super user, we will actually expand the role of that user in the future. But for right now, the super user will have the ability to customize the permissions for these reports and nominate who has access to them. Given that these are quite sensitive reports, you probably don't want everyone being able to see these reports. So you can choose which users can see these reports. So once the permissions have been set, let's take a look at this very first report. So property managers can use this report to identify any properties that are potentially under rented and where you could probably increase the rent. So the first, we'll just give it a few seconds here to load. The very first number that should show up when it loads, let's give it a sec. It always happens in a live demo. There we go. All right. So you can see the very first number here just shows me how many properties I have across all my portfolios. Now, before we dig deeper into this, you can see I've got filters here on the left-hand side. Sorry, I mean the right-hand side. And I can click on Office, and you can see all the offices that I have access to and be able to drill down to individual offices if I need to. And
so this is your roll-up reporting.
Yes, this is an example of roll-up reporting, which is very handy, especially for head office users that need to be able to see branch office info. And then there's additional filters over here on the right that just allow me to drill down even further. We'll keep these filters in their default states. I can see I have total number of properties there, and these properties over here don't have key information about them, such as the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and car spaces. The reason we surface this is because without this information, it is actually hard for Console Cloud to provide meaningful comparisons against these properties. So that's probably the first thing you want to do, is make sure you clean up all these properties and add all that missing information.
So and that should be all zeros.
It should be all zeros. And you can actually see that in this full report, which you can export to Excel, by the way, and be able to see the bedrooms, bathrooms, and car spaces that need to be filled. Once all that information is filled, then these reports, these widgets down here will start to make a bit more sense. So for example, I can see how many properties currently are a low rental rate. And we use this information here to compare properties against each other.
Within your portfolio?
Within my portfolio, yes. And also similarly, I can see how many properties are currently earning a low rent commission. So for example, these properties here are low rent, and that now updates my table down here. So I can export that. And all this is, guys, is just a conversation starter in your management meetings. So you can have a frank conversation with your team members and decide what to do with these properties. Do you review the tenancies? Do you increase the rents? Or look at offloading these properties off your rent roll? The fee commission report is particularly handy if you want to review any properties that have very, very different commission structures to your other properties. So for example, I can click on this, and this now shows me all my properties that are currently set with a very different structure compared to the everything else in my rent roll, which is great if you just inherited a rent roll, for instance, and the fee structures are very different. So that's one way that you can view those properties. So the next one we'll take a look at is the Arrears benchmarking report. Now I'm using a demo environment here, so we may get some errors. Hopefully nothing comes up. So this report here is another useful report that property managers can use to see how their arrears compare to other agencies. So it's just taking a few seconds to load. If this doesn't load, then we might just move on to the next part.
Technology and babies, always unpredictable.
Especially in a demo environment, which is what this is. Okay, that's taking a bit longer than expected. I might just check this last one, see if that loads quicker.
Yeah, I think it's just worth pointing out, TJ, that these reports are all to start conversations. They're to highlight things that you may want to address. It doesn't mean it's incorrect. For example, like you mentioned about the fee report, low fees might have been a rent roll you purchased. It's just something to keep on your watch list. That's something you might want to rectify in the future. And same with your rental income report that you were showing earlier on. Might be lower rental because there might be a suburb particularly impacted by COVID, and there may be a reason. But just to keep those things front of mind. Again, like our whole philosophy here is to help you, do less work or do your job quicker, so that we're being asked to do a lot. We want to take as much off your plate as we can, but we also want to help ensure that you and your agency are making the revenue that you're entitled to.
That's right. And I think this report here that just loaded will help you see that more clearly. So this report shows you how many properties you have across all your portfolios that are, now we use the word uneconomic. It doesn't mean that they're not profitable. It just means that you're spending a lot more effort than you should in these properties.
So how do you work that out?
And so it's actually quite clever what we do. So we actually assess every single property that is in Console Cloud and measure the amount of work that's done in each property. And that's using a bunch of analytics to determine how many events occur or interactions occur per property. For example, each time you send a manual SMS or receipt rent manually, or based on the number of maintenance activity for that property, that all contributes to the score. So you can see, for example, this property here has a high work score. That means a property manager has spent a lot of time doing stuff with this property. That's what that means. So it's all proprietary, sort of algorithms that we use. So it's not something you can customize, but all this is basically just a way for you to relative to each other, compare how your properties are in your portfolio and identify which ones are your team spending the most time.
So that sounds really neat, but what would you do? Like, what would you do with this information?
So look, this is great to be used in management meetings. So you can basically filter your list to show you all properties where you spend the highest amount of work and the properties that have the lowest amount of income, and have a conversation with your team members. Do you need to reassess these properties? Do we have the right type of tenants living in these properties? Are they well maintained? Do we need to look at upping the fees, for example, if these properties were inherited from a different rent roll? So these are the types of questions you can now ask because you have this report. Whereas previously you'd have to fish for this information using multiple reports, but now you can do that all with just a single one.
And now, TJ, you can export this for your management meeting as a PDF, and you can also export it as a CSV.
That's right. So the export features right there, which then you can then use in Excel and then basically go nuts from there. All right. So look, these bunch of reports should hopefully help you answer the question, like, are your properties worth keeping? And we think that it'll definitely be beneficial for you in any future management meetings that you've got. All right, guys, that's the last part of the demonstration. So we'll flick back to the slides and Matt will take us through what's coming up next.
Thanks, guys. I'll just scroll back down. Look, we've released a lot of product over the last 12 months. And as I mentioned, your feedback's really, really important. We'll touch on that again shortly. The main focus for us over the upcoming quarter, so the next 3 to 6 months, is really to start just continuing to improve those flows between elements of the system, just to make your lives easier so you can find things quicker and you can do activities quicker. Workflows, as we mentioned time and time again, they're at the heart of Console. They're really the thing that can help make your agency, not just a better place to work, but also help you like manage your work-life balance by automating those things that can be automated, so you can spend more time talking to your tenants and owners. And we've started the journey on, automating some of the more complex workflows. So arrears, compliance. And when I say compliance, I'm talking about property compliance. We also automate our lease renewals. You've seen inspections that we've digitized end to end. So again, like, more work is being placed on people other than the property manager. So, you're getting things handed back to you digitally, as well as maintenance through Maintenance Pro as a full and digital end-to-end workflow. So we're continuing to work, and based on the feedback and our clients that give us great ideas to make those things better, we'll continue to round those things out. And you will notice, especially those of you who've been on Console for at least 2 years, our UX team has been doing a phenomenal job together with our engineering team to redesign and continue to streamline the pages within our system.
And look, it's probably worth mentioning as well that we do listen to your feedback, especially the suggestions that you guys add into Console user suggestions. And a lot of that feedback does inform what we build in the product. And so keep those ideas coming because they're great.
A couple of things before we get onto the sneak peek, just around preview disbursements. Marketplace. So again, in Marketplace, we've got numerous partners live. And again, your feedback's been helping to drive these, who we partner with. So you can activate these. If these are suppliers that you use, you can connect them to your Console Cloud account for even more efficiency. So you don't have to keep cross-keying stuff between systems. and we've got some upcoming partners that will be going live, hopefully in the next quarter or two. I just want to give a shout out to our non-integrated partners. These are people who help us with our training, consulting. They're certified in Console Cloud and they're part of our partner program. So we endorse them. We recommend if you have any, things outside of the day-to-day that you need assistance with, this is a great list to refer to. And as TJ mentioned, Console Insiders is our Facebook forum. We listen to your feedback. We have a lot of engagement through that forum, as well as through Console suggestions. I'm just going to give a quick little sneak peek of something that, many of our customers, and again, it's just a small thing, but it's another thing that we've received a lot of feedback on. And that's been having the ability to preview and approve disbursements. So, commercial was a big thing. Inbound SMS was a big thing. This is another one of those large ticket items or big ticket items that you guys have been asking for, and this is in development now. So
so just to sort of cap that, one thing that what you're seeing right now is just a concept.
Yeah.
It may not be the final version.
Thanks, TJ. But you'll be able to get the vibe.
Yes.
So this is our disbursement screen. For those on Console, it'd be familiar with it. You can already sort by portfolios. Now our system, rather than going through every single disbursement and trying to work out if something's wrong, we are putting some flags on things that you might want to review. So it's just that whole management by exception, and it's that work smarter, work faster concept that we try and build everything in the system. So you can see I've got some flags for these owners that I'm about to disperse. I can click on that and I can actually preview this disbursement and choose to approve it before it goes to my trust accountant. So this is a property manager typically doing this, and we've had great feedback on this flow. So this is what the preview disbursement screen will look like. It's giving me the reason why it flagged it in the first place, which was just, hey, it's got withholds. You might want to check that. So I can see that there's a $601 withhold. I can go into that account and look at what that withhold is for. I can choose to approve or reject it. I've approved it. Or if I hadn't, so I'm just going through all of them. If I chose to reject one of the disbursements, I can put in some comments for my trust accountant to review prior to running the disbursement screen. And you can see this one has been approved. So nothing else needs to happen from a property management point of view, but when the disbursement comes to run, my trust accountant can see that these are good to pay or not.
That's right. And in case you're wondering, how can property managers view this screen, given that it's locked down with permissions, we're actually adding a new permission type for property managers to be able to read the screen only and approve the disbursement suggestions there.
When I just got a couple of questions that have come through. I just wanted to just let you know, we've got a couple of resources that are really valuable. We've got some great feedback. One is how to calculate your local market share, and the other one is our playbook for growth, which has a whole bunch of suggestions, little plays. You've probably seen some of our advertising to help you grow your agency. And again, that's been developed with a number of our customers. I guess how to upgrade. Like I say, we've gone through this demonstration very, very fast. We only have an hour. On the back of this webinar, you'll be receiving an email that'll give you some more information on how you can get access to some of these great features. TJ, I've got a question. I'm not sure if you want to take this one or Em wants to take it. But someone just said, what are the categories on the property screen?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So that actually is probably not officially released to everyone, but you may have noticed it as we were demoing it, that it showed up just give me a second. My mouse just died for some reason. There it is. It may have appeared as we were demoing it. So it's something that it's been in development for the last couple of months, and we're hoping to get it released very soon to everyone. But the way it works is basically you can assign, very similar to Gateway, you can basically add a category in here. So you can see, for example, we've got a few categories already created for some of my properties and contacts. So once your categories are created, you can then assign people and properties to these categories, which you can then filter. So for instance, I've got a couple of ones here for different types of zones. which seems to be a very common use case for these categories. And then when you go into a property, probably someone noticed this, which is, very keen eye. So you can basically go into edit categories and then choose which categories this one should appear on. Once you assign that category back into the list view, there's a filter at the top here that allows me to view all properties that have been assigned that category. And we've done the same treatment into contacts. So this is not released to everyone, guys. It's still in final testing, which is why it's in this office, but will be released to everyone very soon.
Thanks, Juanita. It was very keen eyes.
Cool. So we're just going to go through some of the other questions that we can see in the chat here. So someone's asked, how do I turn on advertising and paperless inspections for my office? So we're actually going to send you some information after the webinar on how you can upgrade to premium. So after the webinar, you'll receive an email with further information. And once you upgrade, then you go into Marketplace and turn it on. There's one question here. I think we may have, I'm pretty sure we did cover this during the demo, but someone's asked here for inbound SMSs. Is there a cost associated with this? Matt, do you want to take that one?
Look, it's just part of our premium tier. So when you're part of the Console premium tier, you'll automatically receive the number. There's no additional cost to that. Obviously, it's 10 cents for an SMS going out, and an SMS coming back in costs you nothing.
That's right. And you also get a dedicated number for your office. So all replies can be sent just to that number, and they will come into your inbox here in Console Cloud.
Thanks. And look, guys, our premium tier is where a lot of the really great capability within Console Cloud sits. Again, hopefully you've seen the ways that we're trying to help you work smarter, work faster. We recommend trialing that premium tier, as well as being able to trial our Go Inspect app. I think that's it. We're going to stay online, just answer some more questions that are coming in from the chat. Guys, it's always a pleasure. We love coming and doing these demonstrations and running through the product. We're looking forward to doing it in the next 3 to 4 months.
Thanks, guys.